Today I move a lot of things that I move a lot during the 6 months. That is to feel that I don't have external success. I'm a special education professor. And the work is not much, no, it's a few children. I don't have, especially Nicole triggered that. I admire her, so successful. And it's something that now that I go back to Chile, I don't have something big outside that I've done. My family has a lot, but not something of mine. I know 6 months is the most important thing I have done in my life, I'm aware. But when I see someone that I admire a lot, it triggers I don't have success. I love my profession. But there is a point where I still think that is, I don't find myself a successful person. That moves me. And I want you to hear what you have to say about it.
Well, firstly, to be successful is to have the capacity to love. For me, that's the greatest success. And the most important success that any person can have. And now that you've attained that, you have no idea what you're going to create. Before the 6 months, Nicole wasn't successful either. You know, she was just Nicole, full of insecurities, with a pretty face. And now, she's amazing. Why? Because she stepped into her power. She started trusting in herself. She started pushing the limits, doing things she never had the courage to do before. And yes, now she's really successful, but she has love. The most successful thing for me about Nicole is her consciousness. She has a beautiful consciousness, and she's giving that to the world. And this is what you're going to do now. You know, so be in you and stop comparing. What am I being? Am I happy? Am I giving? Do I have something of value to give? There's lots of people that have a lot of money, but it doesn't mean they're successful. Success is holistic. It has to be a complete thing. It's not just what I have. It's what I have within me, and how I empower myself, and through that I'm empowering others. And that's what I call success. The power to empower other people, not just to accumulate. You know, back in the times of the caveman, the one that had the biggest club was the most successful, because he could hit more things on the head. You know, boom, 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 boom. Success! I'm successful! Hung, hung, hung. Woman! Woman! What was he giving?
¿Qué estaba dando?
No mucho.
No mucho.
So be clear about that.
Así que estate clara con eso.
So I would like you to talk about the mirror. Can you help me to clarify that? How is that if I see something in someone, I have it? Or if I see something I don't like, I also have it?
It's very easy. If something on the outside affects you, it's yours. And you have to find it internally. Oh, he's arrogant.
Oh, él es arrogante.
Find my own arrogance.
Encontrar mi propia arrogancia.
Because once you lose your internal
Porque
judgment,
una vez que tú pierdes los juicios internos propios,
the outside doesn't affect
el
you.
afuera ya no te afecta.
You see it for what it is.
Lo puedes ver por lo que es.
Love and
Amor
evolution.
en evolución.
I see violence.
Veo la violencia.
I know my own violence.
Conozco mi propia violencia.
I see arrogance.
Veo la arrogancia.
I know my own
Conozco mi
arrogance,
propia arrogancia.
which is a product of fear.
Que eso es producto del miedo.
Fear of loss,
Miedo a la pérdida,
fear of
miedo al
abandonment.
abandono.
All of these fears
Todos estos miedos
you have to heal.
tienes que sanarlos.
So when they're mirrored externally
Entonces, cuando están reflejados externamente
and we have a
y
rejection,
tenemos cierto rechazo hacia
it's
eso,
always about
siempre se
us.
trata de uno mismo.
You know, I have a saying,
Yo tengo un dicho.
be careful what you judge,
Ojo con aquello que juzgas,
because you'll either marry it
porque o te casas con eso,
or become that. And the stronger the
y
judgment,
más fuerte es el juicio,
the deeper the aspect of
más
yourself
profundos los aspectos de sí
that you're not
que
embracing.
no estás abrazando.
Consciousness
La conciencia
should have a clear window.
tendría que tener una conciencia, una ventana limpia.
I perceive,
Percibo,
I see
lo
clearly,
veo con claridad,
but without
pero
judgment.
sin juicios.
Love and evolution.
Amor en evolución.
Love and
Amor
evolution.
en evolución.
Love and
Amor
evolution.
en evolución.
Because I'm clean.
Porque estoy limpia.
I've cleaned my window of
He
perception.
limpiado mi ventana de percepción.
And always walk towards the
Y
separation.
siempre camina hacia la separación.
Because humans always do the opposite.
Porque los seres humanos siempre hacen lo opuesto.
They isolate.
Se aíslan.
I don't want to look at that.
No quiero dar una mirada a eso.
I make it,
Lo transformo en algo
I don't want to look at.
a lo que no quiero mirar.
And you have to walk towards it.
Tienes que caminar hacia eso.
Because it's always an aspect of you.
Porque es siempre un aspecto tuyo.
Because you need to experience love in
Porque
everything.
necesitas llegar a experimentar el amor en todo.
And now in modern
Y
society,
ahora en esta sociedad moderna
there's so much communication through the web,
hay tanta comunicación a través de la web,
the net,
de la net,
the WhatsApp,
del WhatsApp,
everything
todo.
is completely
Es completamente
disposable.
a tu servicio. ¿Sabes?
No, disposable.
Descartable.
It's disposable.
Descartable.
It's like I said yesterday.
Como dije ayer,
I don't wish to communicate,
no quiero comunicar,
I block.
lo bloqueo.
I don't wish to do
No
this,
quiero hacer esto,
I stop.
paro.
We hide.
Nos escondemos.
We hide.
Nos escondemos.
And it has to be the
Y
opposite,
tiene que ser lo opuesto.
especially within the family.
Especialmente en la familia.
Healing the separation in the family
Sanar la separación en la familia
is one of the most important things.
esa es una de las cosas más importantes.
Walking towards that
Caminar
separation,
hacia esa separación.
walking towards that judgment,
Caminar hacia ese juicio.
finding the mutual love,
Encontrando el amor mutuo.
because that's always a profound aspect of you.
Porque eso siempre es un aspecto profundo de uno mismo.
And how often does it happen within the family?
¿Cuán a menudo eso sucede en la familia?
When there's a death,
Cuando hay una muerte,
when there's money involved,
cuando hay dinero involucrado,
when there's sibling rivalry,
cuando hay problemas entre los hermanos.
and we do this.
Y hacemos esto.
Always we must walk towards
Y siempre
separation,
tenemos que caminar hacia la separación.
because the mirror
Porque el espejo
should be of perfection,
tendría que ser de perfección.
the mirror of
El
perfection.
espejo de la perfección.
I am that,
Yo soy eso.
I am that,
Yo soy eso.
I am that,
Yo soy eso.
I am that.
Yo soy eso.
Hmm?
La segunda pregunta que quería hacerte era, ¿cómo nos puedes decir cómo ayudar a soltar el miedo?
How help to let go of the
Yo
fear?
recién pasé una cirugía bastante
I just
mayor
went through a surgery that was
hace
big
3 meses
3 months ago,
y experimenté el temor
and I experienced a fear
bueno, a la muerte,
to death,
el miedo
the fear
que sentí
the fear I felt
de que no era justo
that it was not just.
y que sobre todo eso, desde tu punto de vista,
Especially that,
como maestra,
from
¿cómo
your point of view,
podemos hacer que
as our teacher, how can
podamos soltar esos miedos
we can let
profundos?
go of those deep
Porque
fears?
sabemos que las otras emociones
Because
las conocemos bien,
we know the other
la
emotions, we
rabia,
know how to let go of the anger, the
tristeza,
sadness,
pero el miedo siempre
but the fear,
es difícil, ¿no?
The fear's underneath everything.
El miedo está debajo de todo.
I need to feel my feelings
Necesito sentir mis emociones
and let go.
y soltarlas.
You know, wherever there's a fear,
Donde sea que haya un miedo,
there needs to be
tiene
consciousness.
que estar la conciencia.
You're talking about death.
Tú hablas de la muerte.
You have to find something beyond death.
Tienes que encontrar algo más allá de la muerte.
You have to find a profound love
Tienes que encontrar un amor profundo.
and a security in something
Una
permanent.
seguridad en algo permanente.
And if you're looking for
Y si
justice,
estás buscando justicia,
you will always be disillusioned
siempre vas a estar desilusionado.
because justice doesn't
Porque
exist.
la justicia no existe.
It's an idea.
Eso es una idea.
It is what it
Es lo
is.
que es.
If it's in front of me,
Si está enfrente mío,
it's mine.
es mío.
I use it to evolve,
Lo uso para evolucionar.
or I use it to be a
O
victim.
lo uso para ser una víctima.
I express to let go,
Expreso para soltar.
or I hold on and
O
suffer.
me aferro y sufro.
I fight with my reality,
Peleo con mi realidad
or I
o
surrender.
me rindo.
And that's the greatest secret.
Y ese es el secreto.
That's the
mayor.
greatest magic.
Esa es la magia más grande.
The capacity to surrender
La
to what
capacidad
is.
de rendirse a lo que es.
There's no such thing as
No
justice.
existe la justicia.
It's an idea.
Es una idea.
Things happen.
Las cosas suceden.
Life's about
La
change.
vida se trata de los cambios.
And life's about
Y la
evolution.
vida se trata de evolución.
All you can do
Lo único que puedes hacer
is evolve
es evolucionar.
and take responsibility for what you're
Y
being.
tomar responsabilidad por aquello que tú estás haciendo.
And people have such a resistance to
Y las
change.
personas tienen una resistencia tan grande a cambiar.
You know, they want everything locked
Quieren que todo esté cerrado
with a contract.
con un contrato.
You love me?
¿Me amas?
You're going to love me forever,
Me
aren't
vas a
you?
amar para siempre, ¿verdad?
Here, sign here.
A ver, fírmame aquí.
But you said you'd love me
Pero
forever.
dijiste que me ibas a amar para siempre.
What is forever?
¿Y qué es el para siempre?
There's this moment.
Es este momento.
Everything changes.
Todo cambia.
But humans have so much fear.
Pero los humanos tienen tanto
They have to
miedo
possess
que
everything.
tienen que poseer todo.
And that's the biggest
Y
illusion.
eso es la ilusión más grande.
It's here,
Está aquí
it's gone.
y se fue.
Surrender,
Rendirse,
evolution.
evolución.
That's what intelligent people do.
Eso es lo que hace la gente inteligente.
That's what conscious people do.
Eso es lo que hace la gente consciente.
The capacity to let
La
go.
capacidad de soltar.
What a freedom.
Qué libertad tan grande.
That's one of the things I love most about myself.
Esa es una de las cosas que amo más de mí misma.
I have this capacity
Tengo esta capacidad
to let go.
de soltar.
Okay,
Bueno,
I see.
así.
Mi pregunta es cómo encontrar esa coherencia
How to find that coherence
cuando encuentro bienestar interior,
when I find the well-being, inner well-being,
estar como en mi cuerpo.
also how to feel it in my body. Because better I feel, I could see,
Empecé a engordar y
they start to get weight and abandon my body. And when I feel bad,
como que estoy muy atenta a mi cuerpo.
I'm very attentive to my body.
Well, if you're conscious about that,
Si estás consciente sobre eso,
just change.
simplemente cambia.
It's simple.
Es simple.
You know, you went through a very strong process here.
Aquí atravesaste un proceso muy grande.
Don't be
fuerte.
too rigid with
Así
yourself.
que en este momento no seas demasiado rígida.
You know, we
contigo.
starved you for 6
Te
months.
matamos de hambre por 6 meses.
We fed you fruit and lettuce.
Bueno, lechuga y fruta.
You know, obviously when you leave,
Obviamente que cuando te vas,
you're going to have to stabilize,
vas a tener
no?
que estabilizar.
And maybe put on a little bit of
Tal
weight.
vez vas a poner un poquito más de
But you've just got to be conscious.
Pero solo tienes que estar consciente
Oh, well, I
de
need to
eso.
exercise
Ah,
more.
bueno, necesito hacer más ejercicio.
You know, but you have to be with you.
Necesitas estar contigo.
Always making choices
Siempre eligiendo aquello
that make you happy.
que te haga feliz.
What does it make me
¿Qué
happy?
me hace feliz?
Well, I like to feel in
Bueno,
peace.
me gusta sentirme en paz.
I like to feel love.
Me encanta sentirme en
I like to
paz.
feel that I'm giving,
Me gusta sentir que doy.
that I'm having a clean life,
Que estoy teniendo una vida limpia.
and I'm choosing
Y que estoy eligiendo
things that give me joy,
aquellas cosas que me dan dicha.
not destructive
Y no
things
son destructivas.
like before.
Como antes.
And I like to look
Y me
nice.
gusta verme bien, linda.
So write it down
Escríbetelo.
And make that your
Y
focus.
transforma eso tu foco.
But not from a place of
Pero
rigidity.
no haciéndolo desde un lugar de rigidez,
And see the traps.
sino viendo las trampas.
You know, sometimes
A veces
you're moving stress,
estás moviendo estrés
start eating.
y empiezas a comer.
Like, be conscious of
Estás
that.
consciente de lo que haces.
Oh no, I need to connect.
Ah, no, necesito conectar.
And do meetings.
Y haz meetings.
And give to people.
Dale a la gente.
Because when you're doing that,
Porque cuando haces eso,
it keeps you very, very
te
focused.
mantienes súper enfocada.
And that's the most important
Y esa
thing.
es la cosa más importante.
You don't start falling back into old
No vas a
habits.
empezar a caer en viejos hábitos.
Yeah? You'll be great. You're already great.
Ya eres fantástica.
Yeah. You know, if you ever leave.
Si te vas alguna vez, eso es caso de que te vayas de acá otra vez.
If not, we'll just put you with Max
Y
and...
si no, bueno, te ponemos en entrenamiento con Maxi y ya está. I will stay.
Okay.
I will stay for that.
We were talking not as a religion, but as a historical, as a spiritual teacher. Personally, I'm not religious, but I love Jesus. I always love him. I read so much about him. And I would like to listen to your opinion. Because I imagine you as an enlightened teacher might have also another points that maybe we don't see.
You know, when I think of Jesus
Cuando yo pienso en Jesús
or Buddha,
o Buda,
it's always the same thing, no?
es siempre lo mismo.
It's that expression of pure unconditional
Es
love.
esa expresión de amor incondicional puro.
It's like a guide. And in all
Y
religions,
en todas las religiones,
the master's always an enlightened
los
master.
maestros siempre son maestros iluminados.
But then the humans start to put their ideas,
Después los humanos
their
empiezan
fears,
a poner sus ideas y sus
their
miedos,
interpretations,
sus interpretaciones,
because they're interpreting from
porque están
duality.
interpretando desde la dualidad.
People can't interpret
Las
consciousness
personas no pueden interpretar la conciencia
unless they are conscious.
a menos que sean conscientes.
People can't perceive
Las
enlightenment
personas no pueden percibir la iluminación
or the parables they
o
use
las parábolas que son usadas
unless they're
a
enlightened.
menos que estén iluminadas.
And this happens in all
Y
religions.
esto sucede en todas las religiones.
There's always the purest source,
Está siempre la fuente absolutamente pura
and then it moves through so many
y
hands
después pasa por tantas manos
and so many windows of
y
perception,
tantas ventanas de percepción
it starts to become corrupt.
que empieza a corromperse.
You know, it happens with the Upanishads,
Sucedió también con los
it happens with Christianity, with Muslims, with all of it.
Con todo eso
It becomes very complicated,
se transforma en algo muy complicado,
very intellectual,
muy intelectual,
full of rules
lleno de reglas
and
y
prejudices
prejuicios
and
e
ideas
ideas
that never were the concept in the
que
beginning.
nunca fueron el concepto al principio, al comienzo.
Consciousness
La conciencia
is
es
consciousness.
conciencia.
You know, Jesus was consciousness.
Jesús era conciencia.
My Father and I are
Mi
one.
Padre y yo somos uno.
What's the Father?
¿Qué es el Padre?
Consciousness.
La conciencia.
I am one with God.
Yo soy uno con Dios.
Enlightenment's one with
La
God.
iluminación es uno con Dios.
Enlightenment is God.
La iluminación es Dios.
I understand Him
Yo lo entiendo a Él
completely.
completamente.
Isha, tú hablabas
You were talking about
de que puedes dejar ir con mucha facilidad.
that you can let go very easy. How to let go?
¿Cómo dejar ir sin resistencia?
How
y
to
con-
let go
con
without
dicha, con
resistment
alegría?
and with
Joy, with happiness.
You know, we're very similar,
Somos muy similares.
you and I,
Tú y
Caesar,
yo, César.
because I was the queen
Porque yo era la reina
of romantic drama.
de los dramas románticos
You know, and I could never let go either.
y yo jamás podía dejar ir.
You know, everything was so intense,
Todo era tan intenso.
so important, and I had to forgive, and I couldn't let go, and do I want to be with this, or I want to be with that? I understand you
Yo
perfectly.
te entiendo perfectamente.
I understand your suffering.
Entiendo tu sufrimiento.
And the only
Y
solution,
la única solución,
the only
la
solution,
única solución
is to find something bigger.
es encontrar algo más grande.
And
mayor.
that is a profound
Y
consciousness.
eso es una conciencia muy profunda.
Because for you,
Porque para ti
it's like an addiction.
es como una adicción.
It could be like alcohol,
Podría ser el alcohol,
it could be something else.
podría ser otra cosa.
But this is your thing.
Pero esta es tu cosa.
That's your
Esa
addiction.
es tu adicción.
And you have to be so centered
Y tienes que mantenerte tan centrado
and taking such
y
responsibility
tomando tanta responsabilidad
for you being happy.
por estar feliz.
And the only way to do
Y la
that
única manera de hacer eso
is to laugh
es reírse
at the drama.
del drama.
Go, when you start thinking about,
Cuando empiezas
I don't know who it is,
a
but
pensar, no sé quién es
just
ahora,
laugh and go, oh, I let that go.
ríete y piensa, ya solté eso.
I'm sick of suffering.
Estoy podrido de sufrir.
And go in.
Vas para adentro, para adentro, para adentro.
And you train yourself
Y te vas entrenando así,
until you expand so much,
hasta que te expandes tanto
it becomes unimportant.
que se tornan algo no importante.
And these addictions
Y estas adicciones
that make you
que
suffer,
te hacen sufrir,
because you like the intensity.
porque en realidad te encanta la intensidad.
You like to,
Te encanta eso.
you like the passion.
Te encanta la pasión.
You love sex.
Te encanta el sexo.
You love women.
Te encanta las mujeres.
I know how you are. You love all of that.
Todo eso.
But you also like to suffer.
Pero también te gusta sufrir.
And that's the biggest passion.
Y esa es la pasión más grande.
And you have to make consciousness the
Y
biggest
tienes que
passion.
transformar la conciencia en tu pasión mayor.
Mm? That's the only way to heal it.
La única manera de sanar eso.
And you can.
Y puedes hacerlo.
Because it's just a habit.
Porque es solo un hábito.
And it's a nice thing
Y es algo lindo.
when you're young
Cuando eres joven.
and a bit
Y un
stupid.
poco estúpido.
But when you mature,
Pero cuando ya eres un adulto.
you have to, at some point,
En algún momento.
you have to let that go,
vas a
no?
tener que dejar ir eso.
It's like, oh, it's
Sí,
exhausting.
porque es agotador.
Mm? Yeah, I think you're at that point. How old are you
Estás
now?
llegando a ese punto. ¿Qué edad tienes ahora?
36.
Well, you're getting to the point, huh?
Estás acercándote al punto.
Maybe you got 2 more, 2
Tal vez
años
te quedan
más.
2 años más.
But you know, start to wean off it.
Ya te empieza a disminuir.
You're welcome.
Mami. Bueno,
Bueno, a continuación.
the continuation.
Yo pensé hace tiempo
I thought
que yo había
long
soltado
ago
todo lo
that
que
I let
sufrí
go
con-
all what
con
could
su
happen with
vida,
Cesar in his life.
Él está independiente.
He's
desde
independent
hace
since
tiempo,
long ago,
Pero
but
yo siento cuando algo está
I
pasando,
feel when something is happening to him,
y no quisiera que me afectara,
and I
porque
don't
sigue
want that
afectando.
affecting me, but it continues
Entonces,
affecting me,
cuando
to
está
see when he is
saliendo
like
por un lado y para
pulled
otro,
from one side, the other side.
yo hablo con él
I
y yo
talk
le-
with him
bueno,
and
yo le digo
I
lo que
tell
yo siento,
what I feel.
pero como que no, pues me escucha, yo creo,
I think he just listens and goes through.
y a mí me duele.
It hurts
Ya
me.
quisiera ahora yo
And I
soltar,
could love me letting go.
But you have to let go.
Tú tienes que soltar.
You know, he's just having a human
Él solo
experience.
está teniendo una experiencia humana.
And he's choosing it.
Y él la está eligiendo.
And I've seen you do the same
Y
thing.
yo te he visto a ti hacer exactamente eso.
Who do you think taught him?
¿Quién te piensa que le enseñó?
Between you and Rafa? Between you and Rafa? ¿Qué esperanza tiene?
What's the hope?
Estoy consciente, pero ya cambió eso.
I know, but change, sí,
It's
bueno.
exactly.
Exactamente.
Okay, this is the point.
Ese es el punto.
And you have to know in your
Y
heart,
tú tienes que saber en tu corazón.
he'll change this
Y
too.
él también va a llegar a cambiar eso.
But you can't suffer
Pero no puedes estar sufriendo.
because you want to protect him.
Porque lo quieres proteger.
Because he's fine.
Porque él está bien.
He's just having his
Solo
experience.
está teniendo su experiencia.
And he's here now,
Y está aquí ahora.
but you've got to stop
Pero
suffering.
tú tienes que dejar sufrir.
You know, you're really protective of him.
Porque realmente lo proteges a él.
And because you lost one
Y
son,
como perdiste un hijo.
it's even worse, no? You're like, he's the...
Él es.
And you've got to just keep letting
Y hay que
go.
seguir soltándolo.
Mm. And trust in him.
Y confiar en él.
He's smart.
Sí, es inteligente.
He's conscious.
Es consciente.
He's okay.
Está bien.
I see him fine.
Sí, yo lo veo bien.
He's fine. I see him
Está bien, yo
fine.
lo veo bien. Lo veo
That's
bien.
why he's here.
Por eso está aquí.
Because he decides he wants to fix
Porque
this.
decide que quiere arreglar eso.
So you need to just appreciate
Así
that.
que tienes que apreciar más eso.
Mm.
¿Sí?
I remember when he did the 6 months.
Yo me acuerdo cuando él hizo los 6 meses.
He was phenomenal.
Era un fenómeno.
His consciousness is
Su
phenomenal.
conciencia es fenomenal.
There's no question.
No hay ninguna duda en
It
eso.
doesn't go
Y
anywhere.
no la pierde, no se va a ningún lugar.
He just chooses something else.
Solo elige algo más. A propósito de mamá y hijos,
Talking about mother and son, I connected with. I want to ask, what do you think about when the children separate? I have my two daughters separated with a short time in between. First one, first the other one. And I see them well. But I'm sad for the children.
Encuentro que tiene un pololo con mucha facilidad.
They get boyfriends very easily. And I think it's great for them. I don't have any problem with that. And if they want to sleep at home, I don't have any problem. But I'm a little bit concerned about the children. So I want to ask, I always remember you when you say that the children have an innocence till 3, 4 years old. And they live in the present moment. So they are not going to get complicated, but that thing. I'm not sure.
Okay, you know what? We have rules in society which create suffering. We have ideas in society which create suffering. That things need to look like this, or no one's happy. But it's not true. How many of us had parents that were married forever, had great educations, every opportunity, and every one of those children grew up perfect, yeah? No one had a problem, everyone was happy. No. No. It's got nothing to do with anything. It's just an idea. The greatest thing we can teach children is to focus internally. To understand that things change all the time. But it doesn't mean the love leaves. It just has a different format. But we got so rigid with our structures. You know, when two parents split, then the child spends 6 months in therapy. Because he's taught that something's missing. But is something missing? No, something changed. If there's changes externally, this needs to teach us to find internal security. To not suffer. To be able to flow. To be able to change. And children are innocent. They're joyful. Sure, things shock them, and then they move on. And we need to trust in that. And the only way to do that is through consciousness. Because the old ideas, they're falling. You know, this idea of forever after, it almost doesn't exist anymore. And if it does, oh, we're staying together for the children. We're killing each other. We scream day and night. We hate each other. Oh, but we're staying together for the children. So they can watch the suffering. Does it make sense? So we have to question all our ideas. We have to re-educate. And don't make it strange. Like mummy brings home another boyfriend. Don't make it strange. Because the kids feel the tension. And then they have judgments. And is there something wrong? No, it's just like that. You know, all these rigidities cause all the judgments. And you're an evolved person. You know, in an ideal world,
En un mundo ideal,
Mummy and Daddy love each
mamá y
other,
papá se
evolve in
evolucionan
consciousness,
en conciencia,
teach the children,
enseñan a los niños,
but it's not an ideal
pero no
world.
es un mundo ideal.
We have to flow with whatever
Tenemos que
happens
fluir con lo que sea que acontece
and teach the children
y enseñar a los niños
that the love has many
que el
formats.
amor tiene muchos formatos.
It's not always
Que
rigid.
no siempre es rígido.
And if Mummy and Daddy aren't
Y
together,
que si mami y papi no están
it
juntos,
doesn't mean the love's left.
no quiere decir que el amor ha desaparecido.
It just changed.
Solo ha cambiado.
Si los niños y las niñas en general,
If the children, the boys and girls, they live
de manera que van soltando
in a way
cada
that
vez
they
que
let
tienen una
go every
experiencia,
time they have an experience,
¿cuándo es que nosotros
when is that we
acumulamos toda esa
accumulate all that?
tensión o todo ese resentimiento que nos sucede justamente cuando somos niños?
So, you know, the thing is,
La cosa es
we're taught structures,
que se nos enseñan estructuras
and the structures aren't real.
y las estructuras no son reales.
So we start to associate with the structures.
Entonces empezamos a asociar con estructuras.
And when one of the structures is
Y
broken,
cuando una de las estructuras se rompe,
we feel like a victim.
nos sentimos como víctimas.
We're always taught victim
Siempre
consciousness.
se nos enseña conciencia de víctima.
That someone's doing something to us
Que alguien nos está haciendo algo a nosotros
that's making us suffer.
y eso nos hace sufrir.
And what we're trying to implement
Lo que estamos tratando de
in
implementar
schools
en las escuelas
and in parents
con los padres
is to teach
es
children
enseñar a los niños
to take responsibility for
a
themselves,
tomar responsabilidad por sí mismos,
to look for unity,
buscar unidad,
to take responsibility for their
tomar
emotions.
responsabilidad por sus emociones.
There's not a specific time that
No hay un
happens,
momento específico en que eso
but it's a
suceda,
structure that we're creating all the
pero
time.
esa estructura que estamos creando todo el tiempo.
And we don't just create it as
Y no solo la
parents
creamos como padres
or in
o en
schools,
las escuelas,
we create it as
la
countries.
creamos como países.
We have countries
Tenemos países
with belief
con
systems
sistemas de creencias
that are based in different political
que
parties,
están basados en diferentes
or
partidos
different
políticos,
religions.
o diferentes religiones,
and it becomes
y se
culturally
transforma
present in the
culturalmente
society.
presente en la sociedad.
Prejudices within
Los
religions,
prejuicios dentro de la religión,
and we're taught that from when we're very
y
small.
si nos enseña eso desde que somos muy chiquitos.
And people blindly assume it's
Y
correct,
las personas ciegamente asumen que eso es la verdad, que es correcto.
and it's not based in love.
Y no está basado en amor.
It's often done in the name of
A
love.
menudo está hecho eso en nombre del amor.
Most wars
La mayor parte de las guerras
come from the name of God.
vienen en nombre de Dios.
So you see, it's just structures.
Así que son solo estructuras.
Are they bad?
¿Son malas? ¿Están
No.
malas? No,
But they're antiquated.
pero son antiguas.
We have to question our
Hay que
ideas.
cuestionar nuestras ideas.
We have to look at things
Hay
clearly.
que mirar las cosas con claridad.
We have to start seeing victim
Tenemos
consciousness.
que empezar a ver la conciencia de víctima.
This idea of someone owes you
Esta
something.
idea de como que alguien te debe algo.
If you loved me,
Si me amaras,
if you were a good
si
parent,
fueras un buen padre o
if you were a
madre,
respectful
si
child.
fueras un niño respetuoso.
We have all these concepts,
Tenemos estos conceptos
and they're rigid.
y son rígidos.
And everything we actually
Y
wish
todo aquello que en realidad queremos
is a product of love.
es un producto del amor.
So all we have to do is teach love.
Así que lo único que tenemos que hacer en realidad es enseñar amor.
It's the last thing we teach.
Y es la última cosa que enseñamos.
We teach fear.
Enseñamos miedo.
You all understand what I'm talking about, no?
Entienden todos lo que digo, ¿verdad? De qué hablo.
Mm. And we don't see it yet.
Y no lo vemos aún,
We will,
pero lo vamos a ver,
poco poco,
poco a poco.
but we will.
Lo vamos a ver.
Evolution's always happening.
La evolución siempre sucede.
And then we'll start seeing the abundance.
Y después vamos a empezar a ver la abundancia.
We spend so much time and effort
Pasamos tanto tiempo y esfuerzo
on protection,
en la protección,
scarcity,
en la escasez
and fear.
y en el miedo.
And then we say there's not enough.
Y después decimos no hay suficiente.
There's more than enough of everything.
Y hay más que suficiente de todo.